cover themselves. And we do that to each site. If there's anything that's out of the ordinary, that let's say if there is an ordinance that needs detonation, we would have to address that at that time, walk off the site, and have the experts come in and deal with that. Things like that do happen here. It happened in Mariposa County last year during the fire that they had over there. There was the FBI was called in. A transient went into the cave. Inside this cave, there was ricin, there was a C4, there was mustard gas. So there's things that people collect throughout the years that we have to assess. So once again, you've heard it here many times. It's the safety of everyone involved in this process. And that includes all the workers, that includes my staff, and that includes you that want to rebuild your lives. So if you have any questions later on, we'll be able to answer those. And we are here for you to rebuild. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. I thought the trees were our biggest hazard. He has a bad story. Hey, before I turn this over to our incident commander, we do have I saw Sherry Brennan walk in the back. Thank you for coming, Sherry. And she's on the board of supervisors, so someone you can talk to also. And then we also have our Tuolumne County Fire Chief, and I know he just would like to talk to you. He's your guy here, who will be here for a long time to come. So, Chief White.
Well, thank you very much, Josh White. I'm Unit Chief for Tuolumne Calaveras Unit and also the Tuolumne County Fire Chief. And Rob's being a little bashful. He got us through the rim fire. So the good thing is he's got a little bit of experience. It's a bad thing that we have to go through this experience, but he does have that experience. And what I'd like to say is that if anybody happens to know anybody up there that might have been storing mustard gas or riots, maybe you could get with Rob and we could get a heads up a little early. We'll just start with that. So from the Tuolumne County Fire side, we went into unified command with the incident management team. Great group of individuals. I've really enjoyed working with them. My concerns immediately became their concerns. The incident commander listened to everything that we had to say and immediately began taking mitigating actions to resolve those things. So we were able to bring up 3 fire engines, a battalion chief, and a small hand crew. They weren't short, it was just less than normal amount of people on a hand crew, but we got about 8 guys up there on a hand crew, and we've been able to get all around Kennedy Meadows, out to Highway 108, the Indian Cliff community, and get all of that prepped if and when that fire might make its way down. So as of officially this morning, right, 0700, we went out of unified command, and that's because I really feel comfortable with where we are going. The threat to the south, the 5N01 road, all of those structures out through there are really the issue from the fire impacting those structures has been mitigated. The fire now is up there in Kennedy, up above Kennedy Meadows. It's still chunking around, but what I believe is that if the incident management team needs us, we're going to be able to come right back up. We're just a quick phone call away. They have a lot of resources they've been able to get in there. We've got everything dialed in, pre-planned, and the structure group, they have a specific group up there just to protect the structures. We work closely with the structure group. They know exactly what our plans of attack were, and they're going to be able to implement them. We'll be able to jump right back in if and when that fire happens to impact around Kennedy Meadows. So I'm going to be here throughout the night. I really appreciate seeing this crowd, getting everybody out here. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to catch me afterwards and we'll talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. We've all been in the fire service a long time. You've got a great fire chief here and great staff. You're really been helpful. And even though we went out of unified, he left us a lot of staff to help us in this mission as we continue forward. So before I turn it over to our incident commander for what he has to say, which is always really good to hear, then we'll open it up to some questions for about 20 minutes. I hate to put a cap on it, but we actually have to go back and build tomorrow's plan. So we'll be up till midnight doing the fire planning for tomorrow's shift. Otherwise, we'll stay here all night. If you have a question, please come forward to the microphone so the people in the back can hear it. And without further ado. Lee Rickard, our incident commander. Your chief.
Good evening. Good evening. All right. Well, you know, I'm incredibly humbled to be here in front of you guys and to be in the community, to have been welcomed as a person and a part of a family, which is an incident management team of about 58 individuals. You know, we travel around all over the country and we fight fires. And we're just blessed to have such a great job. You know, you have people say that, well, you go fight fires and you're crazy and all this stuff about us, and I can't believe really that somebody paid me to go do that job, right? I mean, it's been so much fun. Now, I'm not saying this is fun, but the job I did, I got to go out to fires that you guys never even knew about. And those are most of the fires I spent the first 18 years of my career on. And that was off of a hot shot crew and being a smoke jumper. You didn't even know our fires were out there. And that's the way we like to keep them back then. Well, today, and I would say not even today, but the last few years, and Chief Harris back here behind me, last year had a fire on his unit that went all the way into Christmas time. And we start fire season, you know, a couple of months ago back in June, and we're running through Christmas, and it's just turning into a year-long firefight. And I don't think it's looking any better for us in the western United States this year. I mean, you look at your watch and you see what the date is, and it's early August, and you know what the fire did to our country right here in our own backyards. In 2003, did I tell you guys I was a smoke jumper? All right. Number one rule is an IC, nobody can be funnier than the IC. Because I'm supposed to pick you guys up, right? They give you the bad news and I give you the good news. So 2003, I was a smoke jumper. I was deployed in San Diego. I was a division supervisor on the Cedar Fire. They lost over 2,500 homes and structures out of El Cajon, Alpine, in that area of San Diego. This was the largest fire in California history at that time until Chief Harris had his fire, and now we got a new one that's the Mendocino complex. My wife's family's home was lost. 2007, I was not on the Harris fire. San Diego County burned again. They lost, I don't remember the number of structures. My wife's family was lost, house was lost again, twice. They rebuilt a third time, and this time her dad was a professor, pretty sharp guy. Obviously sharper than me, and he built the house into the hillside this time, and he swears it's not going to burn. You know, the one thing my wife says to me when I came up here and I told her where we were going, and she's a firefighter also, she said, you know what, I see how my family is today. They're healthy, nobody got hurt, nobody was injured. And although we lost all my family history, we're all healthy and here again. And she said this to me when we were gathered at like a family, little family reunion where we were all together. And she just pointed to all the aunts and uncles and friends that were at that party and just how grateful she was for that. I know that's kind of hard to see sometimes, but you know, those are the good things, and the bad stuff will pass. I know for a fact that everybody that's been here as a firefighter has been engaged in a battle. They've been here in a fight. And they're giving you everything they got out there on that fire line to put this fire out. I can tell you that. And thank you for that applause. And again, it gives me chills to have you guys applaud that, because we're so blessed to have that job. You know, anyway, I know they're out there giving it everything, guys. And right from the onset, when we got here as a team, Sally and Frank up at Dodge Ridge, you know, they just welcomed us and, hey, we're opening our house to you guys. What do you need? They were incredibly supportive. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate that, and the team appreciates it. The community came in. Yeah, let's give it up for these guys. And you know, Sally and I went down to have a word with her today, and I gave her a hug because she's just in tears because she just, you know, it's so hard for you guys to understand and pull this all together. And quite frankly, guys, it takes me, I find myself, I'm not a very emotional guy, if you couldn't imagine. And it takes me about 6 months for stuff to come to me where I have to go find a rock or a point where I can actually deal with the situation. Other people are different, but that's just how I'm programmed. And you know, I go for the community, so we needed resources. The county, you know, Chief Sanders, I don't know if Jeff Sanders back there, but that guy's been hooked into my hip, and I'm gonna miss you, man. I am. Chief Sanders has been right there with me. What do we need? So give it up for Chief Sanders back there. And Chief White, you know, you guys have been incredibly supportive of us here in the county, with the sheriff's office, with the evacuations. I mean, those are the successes, that we got everybody out without anybody getting hurt, right? We had no injuries in that, and that is amazing considering the fire conditions that we saw. The fire moved 5 miles in one day in timber. That's substantial. So those are the conditions you guys are in. It's not looking any better. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but it doesn't look any better in the near future for the conditions here. So with that, you're going to have fire on the hillside, smoke. I mean, it will be contained, but you're going to have smoke in the air until the snow flies, till we have snow on the ground. And that's what you're going to have in this area. I think for the road, and we'll answer questions up here, but the 108 corridor, with I call it my crystal ball. You guys, probably some of you younger generation don't even know what a crystal ball is. I got my Apple device, and I look at my smartphone, and I see about a 7-day project to get the corridor open. And that would be like controlled traffic, with us letting you go from point A to point B, in one side, out the other, and getting that corridor open. So that's about a 7-day outlook. And I think for the rest of the project, to get all of the access back into your communities, I'm guessing with my Apple and crystal ball, that 4 to 5 weeks before you guys can get in there. And that's when I think we would have this area safe for you guys to get in. Have you know that even if we think we got all the trees down, there's going to be many trees coming down that we won't identify, that just look like they're okay. So it's never going to be just safe, but from a fire perspective, it will be safe at that time. We will be up here available for questions, or actually, you guys are going to get some mic time. All right, does anybody have a question? I'll be willing to take questions, and I'll also pass off the questions to whoever they are directed towards.
Good evening. My name is Joseph DiFilippo. I'm originally from Las Vegas, but I have a place down here in Twainhart. I'm here 4 months out of the year. Number one, I want to state you guys are doing a great job, all the way up to the sheriff here. I appreciate it. I do have a couple of concerns here. Number one, I've camped in this forest over 35 years ago. Now I have a place